your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.
Welcome back to Talking Power, episode 240. I'm your host, Michelle Morrison, and joining me, as always, are my co-hosts Nick DeCimbre and Simon Gonzo Trevelini. How are we going, boys?
Michelle,
how are
Very well. Bit of an inside joke there.
Someone's making me laugh already.
Nick doing his best Darth Vader.
Well, we have skipped another episode, so a bit of a prolonged break, extended break for us. So what has been happening over the last month for you, Simon?
How did I get thrown in this? Work, just busy with work. Everyone's getting geared up. We have a calendar on the ANDRA website.
Yes. Which I should just say, it isn't the complete Perth Motorplex calendar.
No, it's not.
It did announce some dates on the ANDRA calendar that hadn't been announced from the Motorplex, but I can confirm that that isn't a set calendar for ANDRA. There is still suspected to be more to come.
I'm sure there will be, but everyone's getting excited, getting G'd up. Okay, now that we've got that technical issue sorted.
All right. So everyone's getting excited for drag racing to return to WA.
Yes.
And that has kept you busy.
Yes, so there's been a bunch of gearboxes come through the shop. So I'm excited. You excited?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, my car's got to get home, but I'm excited. It's a strange feeling, because I want to be doing stuff and getting it all ready. But it's it's been living in Sydney for the last 12 months, which I'm very grateful for. And I've had a great opportunity of being able to go over there and race.
Shout out to our friends at Motorsports Connection.
Absolutely. I don't think I'd really directly said exactly where it was housed, just for security reasons. But hey, we've only got a month
you better
or so.
crop that out as well.
Only got a month or so to go. I'm sure I'll be fine.
Shout out to
I was going to give big thanks once it was out and back home, but if anyone's looking for it. I'm just excited to get back in the car, really. So much of our life revolves around drag racing, and so can't wait. And Trent's planning on getting back in his car as well, his dad's car, and so it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, it's funny because at footy on Sunday, a few of the parents were standing around at the end of the game, and they're, so what do you guys got planned for summer sports? I said, mate, the track's open.
Yeah.
I know where I'm going to be.
Yes.
There's not going to be any summer sports.
I know. Strategically pick the winter sports for the kids.
The other thing too, that now you've had a lot of experience in the football circles, right? So because, the team has really, it's their first season together and they've had a struggle this year. The Football Commission reached out and said, we're going to reshuffle to make it fairer, right? So the very next game we play is against a team that's being coached by a Brownlow medalist, ex-Eagle.
All right.
Well, I mean, that
makes it fair.
That makes it fair.
I thought you did the whole... Didn't you play the same team 3 weeks in a row or something?
No. We play... Anyway, So we had a gathering at training, and I said, I think that they've done the opposite to us. They've deliberately put us in a harder group, probably because we've had so many complaints and they want to, move us on. And I came to this realization that, the only sport in the entire planet, the entire world, where there is fairness, where anyone can win, is drag racing, bracket racing. It is. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Group 1, if you've got a big checkbook, it helps, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're going to win, but it helps.
Yeah.
Right? Same with Group 2.
And the same, it's you can then pay the best crew chief.
Chiefs,
and
yes.
when it goes into other sports of you think of what the Yankees make, and then they can obviously then use that in the sports that don't have the salary caps. But then even when there are salary
Yes,
caps, there's
of
ways to like
course.
manipulate it and stuff.
Of course.
But drag racing and bracket racing in particular, yeah,
Bracket racing.
it's absolutely.
It is down to the driver when they launch the car and what the dial in, what they plug in, and also what their top end game is. It is completely, it doesn't matter if you've got billions of dollars or you've got barely enough money to make it to the track.
Yeah.
And really made
That's
me
true.
feel like just, people need to know that, because sports, all other sports, with all the nepotism, and you see a kid and they're short and they want to play basketball, and you're thinking, well, sorry son, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but drag racing's not like that. Drag racing, it doesn't matter where you're from, who you're related to, you've got just as much chance as everyone else. And if you practice on that tree and you go and face that light as often as you can, and you get that experience, you can win. And it just doesn't matter. The rest of it is irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I wish more people could see that, because I really think it's the only sport in the world where everyone is equal.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
know.
agree.
Anyway, I'm going to get off. What have you been up to, Nick?
Not a lot, not a hell of a lot. We'll talk about supercars shortly.
Yeah.
I spent the weekend down there, the previous weekend down there, the whole 2 days.
Yeah.
I had the EB on display at Turn 7. That was actually pretty cool. But yeah, this weekend actually, I didn't go to any of the soccer games, but it was the Calcio Italiano for Perth. So we had AC Milan here, Inter Milan here, and Juventus here, and playing Inter Milan the other night. And I made some notes here. I actually went to the actual festival. I went for the Eagles and Collingwood game on Sunday. And what a great turnout it was, like just to see all the people there and, supporting the Italian community. It was a really great initiative by the government. I'd like to know how much it cost us, but
Yeah,
to
it
get,
was.
like 3 Serie A teams and a Serie B team here, because Palermo's Serie B, and would have been a fair
What did they
expense.
call it? A closed, some fancy contract, not
Oh, okay. Not
Yeah.
for public view.
not for public, whatever the.
It would have been. Look, I mean, okay, how do you measure how you get your money back? You don't measure how you get your money back. You don't. But I think like it was a fair amount of vibrancy in the city or at Optus Stadium. Tomorrow night's games at actually HBF Arena as well.
But
So-
was it the real team?
Look, most of it was, from what I can understand, but there was a lot of guys that are on contract that haven't had much game time. So they were giving these guys a run to see if they're going to extend their contract or if they're going to get rid of them.
Do you remember? I think we went together to that time they played at the Wacker.
I've been to a few soccer games.
This would be, more than 20 years ago.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
yeah.
Do you remember? Trying to remember Santa Floria or something.
Oh, I vaguely remember that now.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and we got to the game, and everyone that followed it was all excited. And when we got there was not a single player. Did anyone?
I vaguely remember that. And even I went
They
and saw,
played Glory, I think.
Yeah. I saw Chelsea and Glory play a few years ago as well. That was a bit of a mismatch. But anyway, I didn't see any of the soccer, but it just felt I went along to watch the footy yesterday, and I thought it was a great idea, and I hope they do more of it. I'd like to see
The
more.
only thing is, Nick, would you rather, I would have thought it would have been expensive, right? I would have thought there'd have to be at least 6 zeros involved there. Do you think that the state government would be better off spending that money to maybe help some homeless people get off the street?
No, we can have this discussion till the cows come home. Look, Michelle's laughing already.
I'm just like, here we go.
Oh, just, seeing as between driving here and home, I'm going to see probably a dozen people sleeping in car parks because...
I'll answer your question for you. Simon, I cannot sit here and say to you, yes, because I would be the world's biggest hypocrite if I said, yes, it would have been worth spending on homeless. Because I've sat here for week on week on week touting how important it is we get this supercar race in the city and how it's going to be a great thing for Perth. I couldn't turn around and say
The
with my hand on my heart.
The Burswood track.
Yeah, the Birdswood track. I couldn't sit here and with my hand on my heart. Say,
So
no,
you think the Burswood track's a good investment?
I do, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I've been saying that all along.
Is that because these homeless people will be able to park their cars on it and sleep there?
No,
Is that,
I understand.
can we get them some motorhomes?
I understand where you're going and what you're saying, but there's
I don't think
we
that's how
have
the
to be
budget works.
vigilant.
What do you mean?
Because it gets grouped to different departments.
I know Michelle's on board with what we're doing.
So you guys never heard of that state Victoria where they managed to lose $16 billion? They don't know where it went.
The point that we're making is you could always make that argument. And I agree with you. I agree. We could say hospitals as well. We can say...
Do you guys watch the news?
Yes.
Have you noticed that Basil's been going to all these projects that were started by the state government and now, because he's brought it to light, they're starting to move on finishing it?
Oh.
Yeah, these are all state housing projects that were started.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And then for whatever reason, stopped. I just think that Roger Cook and Rita Saffioti, they should be prioritising the people that need it. The Labor Party is always talking about how they're the party for the people and they help the people that are suffering and I don't think that spending hundreds of $1 million on a racetrack around Burswood and ripping up native land and killing breeding grounds for native birds and that was a good investment.
Wasn't it a tip? Was it a tip?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was a tip.
I'm just reading the report. The report said
the
that
report is that it's a tip. It was a tip. It used to be a tip. Let's
and then a golf course.
Yeah,
and then
there's a couple of ducks that may have to be moved on. I saw a photo from Save Birdswood Park and it showed these ducks queuing up at a fence. And I said to myself, we've saved those ducks because they would have crossed the road and got run over.
Oh, my God.
Wouldn't it have made more sense to have the track in the city?
Yes, it probably would have.
And it would have saved how many hundreds of millions?
I don't know.
How much did the new track cost?
We don't know yet.
But look, it's going to be used for many things as well.
That's right.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be a bicycle track. No, but look, I think you guys have nailed it. You're right. When they're not using it for racing, they should let the homeless people park their cars there and sleep there.
Did we say that this morning? Hang on a second. Oh, God.
I think it's a great idea, and I thank you guys for championing it. Anyway, do you want to move on with the news?
There has been some requests for you to have your branched off podcast for your political talks. So do you want to save that?
Hey,
maybe I could get a job as Carl Stefanovic offsider.
And Carl Sanderlands
Remember how
as
that
well.
worked?
Oh, dude, I cannot stand him.
How did it work out for both
Went
of those?
to air today for the first time.
How that guy is getting paid,
Time note.
what is it, $10 million?
Say that, Simon.
What do you mean? About Sanderland?
say-
Why are people paying, how did he get a contract for $10 million?
I don't know. Wasn't it 12? I thought it was
12, there you go.
Money talks.
But do people really listen to him?
I don't
I don't
at
know.
all. He drives a Rolls Royce. What do you think I think of?
He doesn't drive it. I don't think he's got a license.
He's got a Rolls Royce.
Yeah. His chauffeur drives it for him.
Yeah.
It's probably on HP anyway.
Yeah.
No, my point is that I've noticed just recently, I was talking to Justin about this, right? That there are some podcasts and there are some celebrities that the amount of people that listen to them doesn't add up to the money that they get paid, right?
100%.
So everyone makes a big deal about Rogan, right? $100 million contract, right? $100 million over 10 years. It's still a lot of money, but then you compare that to, God, I've forgotten his name now, but Amazon paid him $63 million US, right? Not Australian pesos, 63 million genuine dollars for a 3-year contract. That is insane. Like, how many views or downloads do you need to get to justify that for a podcast?
You're probably right.
You know what I mean?
You can't
It doesn't add up. Same with Sandilands. Sandilands does not add up. There's no way that many people tune in and listen to him, because he doesn't say anything. You know, the guys at 2GB.
Yeah, but we'll find out now with Sandilands, because now he's having to earn the money himself.
Yeah, but do you think that they earn the money, or that someone just props them up?
Well, ARN, he was on that $12
Yep.
million contract, was for ARN.
Yep.
So that's ended now. But now I don't know who's funding the back end of it.
Well, because the thing is that what's come to light this is just recently, right? What's come to light is that there's actual, and I know this sounds like some crazy tinfoil hat. I don't like to use the word conspiracy, because conspiracy, that word has been turned around. Conspiracy means 2 or more people conspiring to do something, right? Doesn't mean that you've got a crackpot theory. That's what it is. So the tinfoil hat theory is that there are organisations that prop these people up, and then they say to them, "We need you to deliver this message." Now that sounds like, that sounds a bit weird. The government, the current government, Labor Albanese government, they just paid $67 million to journalists because the industry was suffering. So if Wanneroo couldn't get enough people to fund it, and you guys do pretty good funding yourselves, is the government going to suddenly write you a check for $67 million to, keep the doors open? They're not going to do it for the company you work for. They're not going to do it for me.
I mean, I feel like the journalists, that's a...
It's private. It's Channel 7, Channel 9. They're private companies.
And are they now allowed to be talking against?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the point Simon's making.
That's exactly the point I'm making.
So
It's a conflict of interest, isn't it?
Yeah.
The government shouldn't be giving that money out. And I feel as though a lot of these, I'm not saying that all these podcasters and so on, I actually think Carl's podcast is pretty good, to be honest with you. Stefanovic, or however you say it.
I haven't actually listened to much.
I followed a couple of elections that he covered, and I think it was very balanced. I think he gave everyone the opportunity to speak, but yeah, some, like, I just think some of them are propped up, and they're propped up deliberately so that one day they get the knock on the door and they say, "Here's the script for today, buddy. Just read that."
Yeah, I think you're probably right on the money there.
Anyway,
Yeah.
better move on. Quick,
Well-
Michelle, while you got the opportunity.
Do you want to do supercars now at Wanneroo rather than news?
Yeah,
Okay.
no problem.
We're
Let's go
talking
straight
supercars.
into supercars. Supercars weekend review at MotorMall Wanneroo Raceway. Nick, you've got a bit of a write-up that you've given us here.
I went down there. It was great to catch up with yourself and Trent down
Yeah.
there. Did the grid walk on the Saturday. I've never done the grid walk before.
Really?
The grid walk was awesome. I really enjoyed that, getting up close and personal to all the drivers there prior to the race. I didn't realise, they're pretty relaxed
Yeah.
prior to the race there. So I quite enjoyed that. A master stroke with what was that thing on the Sunday? An F.
I don't.
can't
There was a
remember what it
few
was.
across the whole weekend.
But was
for the
that
flyovers?
but that was a real Top Gun moment.
Yeah.
Remember in Top Gun where Maverick flies and the guy with the coffee cup in his
Oh,
hand,
yeah,
the coffee comes flying. That literally happened to me on that final flyover. He had that plane so low,
Yeah.
you could see the writing underneath it.
Yeah.
And
And the
he
wheels
did a
were
f-
down. I'm
yeah.
like, why are the wheels down? Hang on a
He
second.
went that fast, and I was holding a cup of coffee in my hand, and it literally all came out almost. And I was like, straight away, Top Gun came into my head.
Because
What did the writing underneath say?
I don't know.
Do not tow, or something.
they were also like, they were really loud when they were directly above you, but you couldn't hear them coming.
You couldn't hear them coming at all.
Yeah, so
It was
even during the
phenomenal.
week, I'm not sure whether they were going from one airstrip to another or whether they were practicing. I don't know if they did
It
practice.
would have been
but
out of Pierce, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it was,
they were flying over the raceway, and first time it went over, and then I was like, I should have got a video for my girls. I was actually taking a photo of the building, and I said to my boss, I was like, I should have got a video for my girls. And then he's like, here it comes again. And I didn't even have time to actually open the camera and app, because then it was right above me, and you had to be following it to then be able to see when it was going to be directly above you, when you could then hear it. It's
that was awesome. I really enjoyed that. I haven't had seen something like that at. I know we've
and
had
the
them
tricks,
before.
but it wasn't just a simple
Yeah, the
flyover,
stalls and
doing the 360
the
barrel rolls.
Then he was going
and,
upside down as well. Yeah, no, he was pretty
and
cool.
the
That
right
guy.
vertical, straight up.
Yeah.
It was it was really, really cool.
It was disappointing, but I got some of the things I didn't enjoy. I'll get through that at the moment right now. But the Super Utes, I just can't. I don't get it.
I saw your notes on that, and I thought that they were pretty cool.
No, there's just.
I
they
mean,
do
like,
nothing
our
for me.
grass has seen better days, but I felt like, they're obviously not as fast as the supercars and Super 2s. You can visibly see that. But I feel as if they're a bit reckless.
I must have an early version of these, because I can't find any negative points here. Or
you
what
say
did you
the
do
Utes
this one
were
specially
great?
for me?
Look, I thought the support carriers were stronger this year. The only exception for me was the Super Utes. I still struggle to understand what that category fits in the broader. I just don't get. I don't get racing ranges. If you're going to do the super, this is my view on the Super Ute thing, right? You've said it yourself. Those things, what do you reckon? 300, 350 grand to build? One of those things?
Oh, yeah, easy.
Wouldn't it be better if we just start bringing in NASCAR trucks instead?
No. I think you got to scrap it.
Yeah, well, if we're going to do it, I mean, do the NASCAR truck thing, because they're half decent. But these things, who wants to race a Trident?
Why aren't they thinking forward? Because the time is coming where you will no longer be able to buy a Mustang or a Camaro, right?
Yeah.
Think forward. Have a production car series running within the V8 Supercar series, so that when you have to transition, because you don't have Supras and Mustangs and Camaros anymore, and people can't relate to the car on the track, you would have already gotten the crowd used to seeing the production cars.
Yeah, but you're not suggesting using Utes for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I was like,
No,
well, I mean, I
they
suppose
tried
the
it.
Utes are
That's
on the
how they
right track.
started.
That's how they
They
started.
started with the
I'm gonna say.
diesels, and then they put
That's just
LSs in them.
Rubbish.
The Utes
Yeah,
are on the right track with
It is dumb to try and get the community that buys those vehicles and somehow attract them, because they're not into that. They're into four-wheel driving, they're into fishing, they're into doing all of that stuff. They are not into that performance scene.
But it's the question really is that what they're wanting and hoping to achieve? Because the production cars are off the market with supercars. Like, I just don't think that's what they're trying to do.
They're trying to get the tradies that have those vehicles so that they'll cheer them on, using that same mentality that we're always talking about, how when Nick and I were kids, we would see our parents' car on a racetrack and we'd be cheering it on, right? But it doesn't work. Those people are not interested in the V8 supercars or anything to do with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
They want to talk about lift kits. They want to talk about the safari snorkels, rolling coal, that type of thing. They're not interested in this. This is, and look, it's great if people want to buy a drive and do that. It's fantastic. But I think if you had a production car series running within this, you can then transition at a later date, because you're going to need to. You can't, like, they're getting to the point now, like, funny cars are still relatable. You know what I mean? They still make those cars and they make sure they update the bodies every year.
I mean,
That's why
like,
there's no
they-
Camaro
they-
funny car, right?
They don't, like, they're relatable, yeah, but they're not exactly what you've got on.
No, they
track.
No,
do
no, no,
brand,
no, no.
But they do brand.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah,
if you
the
look at
branding's all there,
the,
but you know,
the Mustang's now dark horse.
Yes.
In NHRA, and that's magnificent
Yes.
branding on
Yeah.
their behalf.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Supra is still, like, you can still buy a brand new Supra, right? Just like you can the V8 Supercar.
But I think, and you know, you've referred to before, like when you were a kid, and it's like my dad drives that car and things like that. You know, I don't think my girls would necessarily recognise, and they're pretty good at spotting every single
No, we-
X-Trail on the road of like that's the same car, because they know that it's not just the make badge that makes it the same. And so I don't think that they would be able to say that they would actually say that's the same car as my mum's when it's in its funny car version, because it does look quite different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but my point is, you've still got the Camaros in the V8 supercars. That you can't buy one,
Yeah.
right? They got rid of the Camaro bodies out of NHRA.
Yeah.
You can't buy one. Get them out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at some stage or another, V8 supercars are going to have to go, hey, what are we doing with this?
Yeah.
Like
what for?
Kia Stinger next, maybe. You know, we've had Mercedes. That was a bit of a flop. BMW. I don't know. We've got to go somewhere. If you try and steer it back to that production car
Yeah.
thing, I think it's going to work out better for everyone. So get rid of the Utes and have a production car series that runs parallel with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That way there we can start moving in that direction. You know, one of the things that used to make the touring car racing so great to watch was the fact that you had all these different categories of vehicles running within the one race,
Yeah.
right? So you had the 2 litre class, the 3 litre class, etc. And it meant that there was always traffic for the big boys to get around. So there was always exciting.
Yeah.
And when there's traffic, that means that they've got to bunch up.
Yeah.
You know, there's overtaking opportunities. There's different strategy that you run on. The V8 supercars now, I mean, it's good to watch. I've watched it a couple of times and gone, yeah, I get it. And there's some great talent in there, some fantastic drivers. But it really is a bit of a follow the leader type scenario. You know what I mean? Unless they get lucky with a pit stop and a safety car, or, you know, really it kind of doesn't really change. Something catastrophic has to happen for there to be change. Now, you've seen Formula One. They've spent a lot of time making the cars so that they can overtake and putting all these gadgets and stuff that really mimic computer games. Not my ideal situation, but it seems to have made it exciting to watch again. You know, and we've had a lot of shuffling of winners this season.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I just think that the Ute thing, it was a flop. They tried to save it by fitting V8s to them. It's not really relatable. It's a nothing class. Like it's you know what it reminds me of? Slow prototype racing. You know, the LMPs.
Yeah, LMP.
You know what an LMP is, yeah? Like Le Mans or because there's not a car you can go and buy.
Yeah.
They used to have a class. Remember when they used to have a factory windscreen and roof turret?
Yeah.
So they had the top bit look like, oh, that looks like a Mustang. And then there was a box around it. You know. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. When we had the Ute, so that's the extension of the old Ute series. But when we had the Ute series, you could go buy a Commodore and Falcon Ute.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I thought that was it was a good fun.
Yeah.
It was difficult for parody.
Yeah.
Because they were so different, but it was still a good fun class to watch.
Yeah.
And some of the accidents were awesome. You got to admit.
Yeah, they were.
So some of those, you know, I think Trans Am's kind of. I didn't. You know, would you say that that's kind of filled in?
Yeah. So I love the Trans Am racing. I thought that was pretty awesome. And like I said, I think they want to be careful what they wish for supercars, because I'm starting to feel that some of these Trans Am cars and some of the drivers are starting to compete for the spotlight.
Yep.
We've got some good drivers in there. We've got Bargwanna's son in
Yep.
there. We've got Seaton's boy in there.
Yep.
We've got James Moffat in there as well. Elliot Barber in there. There's a good mix of drivers in there now. And they get the... Now, that's a controlled engine too. I'm pretty
Yes,
sure it's an
correct.
LS2, I think. LS2. Sorry if I'm wrong. LS2.
LS3, I think.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, LS3. Controlled engine, controlled gearbox. All the cars...
H pattern.
Yeah, H pattern. They're all running, whether it's a Mustang or a Charger,
Yep.
whatever it may be, they're all running that combination. I thought their racing
It's
was
pretty much just the skin on the outside that's different.
Yep. So I thought that was pretty cool over the weekend.
And they're reasonably priced too. They're not that expensive to get into.
No, I didn't think they were. I thought they were. When I looked at some of that some time ago, it looked pretty reasonable. Super Twos, they put on a reasonable show as well. But what really stuck out to me was how dated those cars look now.
Yeah.
Especially the Mustangs. They look absolutely hideous. The Mustang, I understand they never had the right shape to start with.
Yeah.
But they looked absolutely terrible. Like my memory must have... I've forgotten how crap they looked. But anyway, that was not bad racing. Good on Aaron Love as well, taking out the weekend. Good WA boy. In the Eggleston Motorsport Commodore, they did really well to win there, and it was congratulations to them.
Is he from the Grass family?
No, from, remember the owner of Coco's in South Perth?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Ian Love, that's his
Yeah.
son. Aaron,
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it was they did really well on the weekend. It was pretty easy getting in and out. I don't know about you, Michelle. I had no dramas getting in and out.
Yeah, I stayed further past finish time both nights, but we have had a lot of positive comments and feedback come back.
Was it a good
for that.
crowd?
So, yeah, the crowd was great. I mean, like the
Big crowd.
bet-
It was
the
bigger than
biggest
for the last
number
5 or
for the
6
last 10 years at
Yep.
40,213
Yep.
off the top of my head across the 3 days. So, yeah, I mean, I saw some comments circulating of, I
was my
won't
mate
even
Pete.
say,
Pete
yeah,
Patterson
yeah.
said that
And the thing is that
crowd
like,
numbers were down. He wasn't even there.
yeah, and it is such a huge venue with so many viewing points, like to actually be on the hill and looking at it from the paddock side, it looks full, but then when you're on there, you're like, people aren't actually on top of each other.
No.
But it was full. Another word that we had was about how much they had to extend the corporate tents and add on for corporate tents. So there was a lot more, I think an extra 10 metres extension opposed to last year.
The platform there, is that open to the public or you need a special ticket to get to that?
The platform under the big marquee, is that what you're saying?
No, where you go across the bridge?
Oh, on the garages
Yeah.
across the top.
No, anyone can. As long as you've got a paddock pass, a pit
Yep.
pass, you can go on top of there. That's
Yeah,
easy.
see that? I mean, you get a lot of people on there.
Yeah, and like what a cool viewing point to have.
is a
You're
cool
directly
viewing point.
above the garages and watching them do
Yep.
their pit stops and everything like that. It's awesome. It's
Hey,
fantastic.
so I've noticed this thing. Well, who is this Peter guy?
Peter Adderton.
Yeah,
He's the
he's
owner of Boost,
Boost.
Mobile. He's the
Oh my
CEO of
God,
Boost.
is he still around?
Yeah, he's still around,
and
and
he's very vocal about his opinions for
But
Supercar.
you said the crowd was down. He wasn't even there.
Yeah.
But-
You said,
but
mate, you weren't even there, mate.
Wasn't he going to America or something? And
Yeah, he goes to America
Yeah,
all the time.
there's another company that Boost has then come
can't
off
remember
with
their
something
name.
that
Maybe-
X, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's tailored for like kids plans and stuff.
Yeah.
But they're a big supporter of a lot of motorsports and stuff over in America. I'm actually curious to why that company hasn't come across to Australia. Why they haven't brought that. I thought it would
but
be here by now.
I thought he was out of the V8 supercars.
He is.
Yeah.
He has no team, or we
So
never
what?
had
Who
a team.
cares what
I
he
think
thinks?
he's tried
just-
to. I mean,
He's an influencer.
He's an influencer.
Influencer.
Oh God.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I don't
He
like-
talks and people listen and they're either with him or against him.
But congratulations to Matthew Payne on taking out 2 wins, 1 race on Saturday and the final on Sunday. Congratulations to him. He did a magnificent job, Matt Payne. congratulations to Brock Feeney as well. Broke the drought that Triple Eight were enduring with a few races where they weren't doing too well. And congratulations to him as well, taking out the win, race 2 on the Saturday. Great weekend, enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a fabulous weekend for me, being on the other side of it all in my new role at MotorMall Raceway. And so it was really exciting to be able to just be a part and experiencing that. And I've already got lots of ideas and thoughts and plans into next year's. And but it was a bit of my two worlds colliding at the Supercars events, being that many of my production and commentary crew, there's a bit of crossover there with the NDRC, and so
of course there was.
yeah. So that was awesome, and seeing a lot of drag racing, either friends, spectators,
there,
fans. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and I was on a real excitement high. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
I had Trent come along on the Saturday, as you know, Nick. We bumped into you at the grid walk, and then he actually brought the girls down to watch.
Yeah,
on
I saw him on Sunday with the girls.
Did you?
I saw the girls. I haven't seen the girls for a while. But I saw the girls on the Sunday.
It must have been, were they with Renee at that point?
No, they were with Trent.
Yeah, so then Renee Dobson came down with her two girls as
Okay.
well, and I speak of the friendship that we have often with myself and Renee, and now our two girls that are the same age. Her two are born a month before my two, and I'm so fortunate for that friendship that we have, and how our lives have aligned to just be in the same place at the same time doing this, because the memories that we're making together is just really special. So yeah, it was a great weekend, all in all. And yeah, I've been spending many of my last few weekends there, actually. So it's kind of my weekdays have rolled into weekends, and it just keeps going. But between race rounds and with the school holidays just being recently as well, took the girls, and Trent came along as well to their Drift West nighttime practice.
Oh, yeah.
And for Drift West is practice, and they draw a crowd. It really draws a crowd down there for that. And so that's been really cool to see. Also had Cleo's birthday. Cleo's now 6.
Oh, wow.
And she's got 3 missing teeth, soon to be 4.
I noticed that, yes.
Luna's got 3. And so let's just hope I'm saving on toothpaste, if anything at all, because they're costing me a bomb. But all busy. So the IHRA situation.
Oh, you don't want to cover Formula One and
No, don't worry about the news. It's all right.
no?
Most of it's
Okay,
news.
you want to get into the
Yeah, the IHRA.
Okay.
Yeah, listeners want to hear about that.
Yeah, so
All right.
Nick, you lead the way with this one.
Look, I mean, it's a bit of an elephant in the room at the moment, and the current situation surrounding the IHRA. It's become a pretty big talking point in Australian motorsport and the world motorsport as well. I just wanted to get your perspective on it. From my point of view, it feels like Darrell, to a certain extent, has been left out to dry in all of this. And
I couldn't agree with you more,
Yeah.
Nick. There's a lot of people that I have a lot of respect for. Wes Buck, Jack Corpella, great commentators for our sport, great ambassadors for our sport, but they really threw him under the bus and the IHRA under the bus. And, for the people that are owed money, there are also a lot of people that made hundreds of thousands, if not millions, from Darrell and his generosity in terms of the prize money. Now, I hear the argument all the time, it was never sustainable, but the reality is that for a short period of time, whether it be a year or a month, whatever, it happened, and his online, live, feed, second to none, arguably as good as, if not better than some of the major sporting events that we have in Australia.
Yep.
He did a lot for the sport. He did a lot for a lot of races. And, the truth of the matter is that I believe that he would have continued on had he not gotten into this financial situation. Now, the latest, I don't know if I haven't had a chance to read your notes, but there was a lot of speculation. The three of us had spoken about rumours about him being owed money by Elon Musk's ex-AI. So it is out in the open now. So I feel as though we can talk about it because there is litigation happening now with a lien being put on equipment and a claim against Elon Musk for over $570 million. And Daryl Cuttle, gave an interview on Action News Channel 5, I think, with Joyce Peterson, live in the studio. And he was asked by the host, how are you paying the bills and making it? And his reply was, I don't know. We're just kind of getting by right now. It is what it is, and this is what Elon does. He goes out and takes on the small guy and buries them. That was the quote that he gave on the TV interview. So, I think rather than us, like Wes and Jack have, basically saying that this was going to happen and, we should have never counted our chickens before they hatched, et cetera, et cetera. I think that we should all be thanking Daryl for what he did, in my opinion. He got some racetracks that were closed and he reopened them. I believe that he believed in his vision.
Yep.
But as I found with my own business, if you spend too much time focused in one area and you don't have the right people in the other areas, sometimes, things come apart at the seams.
Yeah, and from everything that we saw before, there was a good relationship there. And do you suspect that your friend would put you in that position?
No, I think that this is why we can talk about it now. I know that Royce, not Royce. What's his son's name? Freeman. Elite Motorsports. Richard Freeman, and is Royce the dad? Royce is the dad.
Yeah, Royce is his father.
Richard Freeman, Wes Buck, and Jack Capella have basically just thrown him under the bus. But I think that no one should have said anything until the legal action started. They didn't talk about Elon primarily because they didn't want to face litigation themselves.
Yeah.
But now that there's paperwork there, it's been lodged, it's happening. Obviously, there is money owed. Whether it was fair or not fair is something that the courts are going to decide. But early on, the three of us knew that this was happening in the background anyway. We'd had discussions about it. And what I said to both of you is, I don't think he can say anything about it because if he does, then he's definitely not going to get paid, and all Elon needs to do is tie him up in the court process until he goes bankrupt. And more than likely that
could still happen. Now,
legally, the big question that I haven't heard anyone talk about is the IHRA was owned by Cuttle Motorsports. So is Cuttle Motorsports listed in the legal suit? Well, I can tell you it is 100% listed in the legal suit. It's one of his assets, and it's embroiled in this. Now, how does that affect IHRA Australia? Well, it doesn't, right? That's the bottom line. I know we've heard Morris talk about it, but I've gone to the trouble of pulling up the ASIC paperwork to see the ownership structure. And IHRA Australia is wholly owned by Australian Drag Racing League Proprietary Limited. ABN is 647-305-708 if anyone wants to look that up, which has its offices listed at the same address as Coastal Accountants, which I believe is Morris Allen's accounts. So I'm going to assume that Morris owns Australian Drag Racing League, and anyone can go on ASIC and get the ownership structure for that ABN. But I'm going to make the assumption that he owns that, and so he owns IHRA Australia outright, which means that other than being associated by name, that there is no connection. Now, IHRA Australia is up for renewal. The company is up for renewal September this year. So I'm going to assume that Morris is going to just renew that.
Yeah, and Morris, IHRA Australia has come out with a statement saying that they were going to be moving on into their into the new ownership for IHRA
They
International.
weren't going to be.
Now they won't, and they will continue with their focus on Australia and New Zealand, and so they've just gone really back to the drawing board of what we have been doing prior.
The thing that I found interesting when I was researching this was that up until the 20th of the 7th, 2022, the IHRA Australia was owned by IHRA Entertainment LLC in Palm Beach, Florida, which means that from 2017, when it was registered, through to 2022, it was actually American owned. I was totally unaware of that. That was a bit of a surprise. So Morris must have taken it back in 2022. I'm assuming.
I didn't know that either. Yeah.
Well, look, it's all there. It's on the ASIC websites. You can download the documents, and but at this stage, it is, it's not involved in anything that's going on in the US.
Yeah,
it is interesting timing though, because while this is playing out, we've also had what could be the demise of the AASA playing out at the same time. Now, I have spoken about the AASA previously on here and its origins and how a small group of people, had it in for CAMS, which is Motorsport Australia. And I was thinking they were getting pretty close to, getting CAMS out of or Motorsport Australia out of business because of the cost of underwriting the insurance. There's been a big twist. I don't know if you would like to. You're a little bit more.
No, I'll comment on. I know the AASA was recently sold.
Wow, was it?
Well, that's
because according to, is it Benelli? Is that
Benella?
Benella. According to Benella Motorsport, it wasn't. And this is where the legal dispute has started. But what's happened is it's put the underwriting side of the insurance in jeopardy, which means that a lot of grassroots motorsports that use AASA, which there are literally, everyone uses it from burnout competitions right the way through.
We use it for some events.
Yeah, well, that was in jeopardy. And it seems as though, if I've read this correctly, and I did a fair bit of reading on this over the last couple of days, Motorsport Australia has come along and said, don't worry, guys, hold my beer, we got this, right? And has scooped up all of that. Is that how you've read it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some that Motorsport Australia are really firm against and not covering, though.
Well, while there's this legal challenge, according to what's been reported, and I'm not saying this, I'm just saying what I've read.
Yeah.
That the underwriters have said, nah. So,
Interesting.
to me, it's a big deal because I'm a big believer in the people that have been around for 50, 75 years and they're still going, whether it be a small business or an organisation like ANDRA or CAMS, Motorsport Australia. I think that they've got that endurance to be able to say, you probably should stick with us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean this, in any way, shape or form derogatory towards the IHRA or Morris Allen, but it's just very interesting how this has played out because, for a while, Nick and I were thinking, man, is Motorsport Australia going to be able to survive? Because you need the members, you need those insurance policies, you need that money coming in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those competitors, when they buy their tech ticket, that percentage of that money is going to them
Yeah.
to cover their expenses for the office and for the staff and so on and so forth. So it has been a very interesting.
It has. Marcus Ambrose leaving as well, which he did say was not had nothing to do with the change of ownership.
Yes.
But it was very interesting that Marcus Ambrose has left at the same time as well. And, and it just seems that the AASA is moving away from that promoter role as well, with the high-tech oils series as well, moving away from all of that.
Well, you can't, in Australia, and I believe it was 1976 Touring Car Championship that brought this about. It was somewhere around there where there was this dispute.
I remember you speaking of this before.
Yeah, so there is a federal law that prevents the governing body from running the series. Now, Andrew's kind of, we've been that small and insignificant that no one's ever worried about, doing anything about it when we used to run our own series. And when the Winfield series was a big deal and on TV, well, that wasn't Andrew. That was Winfield running that. That was their own deal, So, technically they couldn't do it legally. Now, whether that legislation's changed, but as far as I know, it's still in existence because when the breakaway happened between Andra and Thunder 400, Thunder 400 were suggesting at the time that, well, you can't even run a series. This is the law. So it is a, look, I think that with the size of our country, because our population is 10 times smaller than America, that, we're not really big enough that we can have multiple organisations.
We've been saying this
No.
like such a long time
and
now.
I said that for so long for our in our direct world of drag racing, where I see things from Motorsport Australia, AASA side of things, is knowing that if we have an event on that's going to have ABC, that's Motorsport Australia. If it's going to have XYZ, that's AASA, because Motorsport Australia won't touch that, And so in that sense, like, there is an avenue for both because they're covering different things. Now, if Motorsport Australia is going to open up their insurance directory to then be able to cover these other
I personally think that the way it should be is you have Motorsport Australia and they worry about that, and then they license other organisations like Andra or so on, and FIA is at the top of that, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way I think it should work. Then when you've got what I refer to as freak shows, like it might be wheel standers or ride with a racer or some form of new racing that isn't established. Ride with a racer, like, what Kyle used to do, I think that there should be a mechanism through an insurance company. So like when I worked in film and television, there was nothing that we did that we couldn't get insurance for. Like, we had insurance in case one of the actors got sick.
Yeah.
Right. We would get money for basically nothing. And I couldn't get my head around, well, if I want to put on a car show, I can't get insurance, but you can get insurance for me to jump this motorbike that I have. Like when I'm talking motorbike, those mini bikes that I have no experience in doing and no credentials to do, and you can get me insured to jump over that car on this. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But they could do it, and it was like another thing that I didn't understand about film and television. You could get a license. I tried in WA, couldn't do it, but in New South Wales, you get a license as an armourer. And you can have any type of weapon, like you could buy a Black Hawk helicopter, and, I'm an armourer. You know what I mean? So, like, there seems to be different things for different industries, which doesn't seem fair. It should be the same for everyone. So, if you just because it's a motorsport, it should have some avenue. it shouldn't be like, oh no, that's too dangerous. You can't do that. I'm not going to insure that.
Yeah.
You know, when you can get insurance for these ridiculous, you know.
It will be interesting. It will definitely be interesting to see which events Motorsport Australia end up running that are usually AASA.
Well, it seemed all the stuff that I've read, it seemed to say that they were taking it all on, didn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they just thought, you know what, this is the opportunity to get rid of this problem, and we've got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But you are right in what you're saying, and I'm not gonna disagree with that. There have been events that Motorsport Australia traditionally wouldn't touch.
Yeah.
That they just went, yeah, no worries. You know, we'll insure it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, kicking it off with the NHRA results from Sonoma, which was running between July 17th until the 19th at Sonoma Raceway, California. The NHRA headed to Sonoma Raceway, California for their Denso NHRA Sonoma Nationals presented by Power Edge. A big surprise on the calendar was the omission of Pro Stock Motorcycle, as Denso is a big sponsor of the category, including the Matt Smith Racing Team. Instead, Pro Stock Motorcycle fans were treated to a non-points exhibition call-out race sponsored by Gertrex. Or how do we pronounce that, Simon?
Yeah, I think
TTRX or
you know what?
Gertrex?
I've never known, but I think you nailed it.
Gertrex. Geez, I'll be first. In the all Suzuki, all Vance and Hines final, Gage Herrera defeated teammate Richard Gadsden to take away the $25,000 call-out prize money. I mean, not bad prize money for a no points exhibition.
No, not bad at all.
Still getting there, hey?
In the too fast, too tasty top fuel final, Sean Langdon smoked the tyres against Clay Milligan, but still managed to beat him. And an incredible race. Langdon left first, an 058 to an 096. By half track, Langdon was hazing the tyres and Milligan got around him. But Langdon managed to regain traction and drove past Milligan at the stripe, a 4491 to a 4646. To add to the drama, Sean Langdon's fuel line broke through the top end, showering him in fuel. After making an incredible comeback on the racetrack, his focus turned to bringing the car to a stop as quickly as possible. He was drenched in nitro, and the cabin was full of nitro. I can't think of anything scarier than going, 260, 270 mile an hour, drenched in
being
nitro.
Doused in nitro. My gosh. In the too fast, too tasty funny car final, Ron Capps faced off against fast Jack Beckman. Beckman had a slight starting line advantage, a 083 to Capps' 085. Beckman was the first to smoke the tyres and get way out of shape, but on cue, Capps' car followed. Both drivers pedalled, with Capps fishtailing through the lights at over 220 mile per hour. Capps' 4429 beat Beckman's 886 with a 5 in Beckman's lane. A wild race with crew chief Dean Guido Antonelli making the sign of the cross after seeing the whole side of Cap's car from the start line. What a great race.
It was pretty funny watching. In his post-race interview, Ron Capps made reference to famous Speedway driver Daniel Lazowski, saying, "I went all sideways like Danny Lazowski, and that Guido's not going to be happy with me peddling it on Saturday." In the too fast, too tasty Pro Stock final, Aaron Stanfield faced off against Dallas Glenn. Glenn left on Stanfield an 022 to an 030 and held on for the win, 6526 to 6537.
Once the dust had settled, Doug Coletta had topped top fuel qualifying ahead of teammate Sean Langdon with identical 3714s, and in third was Billy Torrance with a 3726. Jordan Vandergriff topped the funny car charts with a 3849, followed by teammate Fast Jack Beckman 3873, and Daniel Wilkinson in third with a 3899. The big surprise to the entire Pro Stock class, if not to the entire NHRA field, was top qualifying run Chris Vang.
Yeah, I was hoping Nick was going to be here for this, but we'll push on.
Stepped out for a moment?
Yeah, just because, I'm still a bit sus about this. After a limited event schedule, Chris made his return to Pro Stock competition by tipping the best and outperforming his engine supplier. In a post-race interview, Chris said, "We knew we made good power because the motors are fresh. We just had Elite freshen them. They're our motors, but they're doing a lot of work on them to try to make them fast. And we knew we made good power." The big performance difference was in the 60-foot time. Chris's car put down a .956 short time. To put that in perspective, the quickest Pro Stock run ever, Greg Anderson's 6.443 at 212 mile per hour, set at Gainesville Raceway, Florida, March 2025, had a 60-foot time of .967. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
He's back.
Once
He's
they
back.
find that top end speed.
The next quickest time was also Chris Vag in Q4 with a .966. The next quickest by another competitor was Cody Anderson in Q2, Dallas Glenn and Stephen Bell in round 1, all with a .970. You missed all of this. We're just talking about Chris Vang's top qualifying effort at Sonoma and how his 60-foot time was incredibly quicker than the rest of the field. Right, so he put down a .956 and the next quickest was a .970.
Shit.
That is a considerable difference. I don't know what to make of it, but I have never seen a performance advantage like that in the first 60 feet in Pro Stock. I searched high and low. I haven't seen anyone else call it out, but I'm calling it out here and now. Something does not add up.
It is a lot.
All right. Well, one to watch. In other highlights from Pro Stock, Greg Anderson got his revenge over Aaron Stanfield after Aaron flickered the bulbs, throwing both drivers off. Eric Latino, who we have reported on here before, turned the tables on teammate 00 Dallas Glenn, unloading a 007 and getting the whole shot win over Glenn. Matt Latino joined his father Eric in the quarterfinals with a upset wire-to-wire win over Greg Anderson, taking both the whole shot and the ET win with a 6.519 to Anderson's 6.527.
On that top qualifying effort, he didn't come anywhere near it at this last event.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just a bit sus, that 60-foot time. Just a bit sus. In the final, in something we've not seen for a very long time, something many believed would never happen again. It was an all-elite start line with Greg Stanfield racing Erica Enders. This is exactly what the class needed to renew interest in what had become the Anderson and Glenn show for much of the season. Stanfield left first with an 0.15 to Erica's 0.32, and lucky he did, taking the whole shot win with a slower, but not by much, 6.551 to Enders 6.550. And is this the turning point for the elite motorsport team?
In funny car, Paul Lee surprised everyone, taking out hard-charging Chad Green in round 1 with a wire-to-wire win. Lee left first with a 0.66 to Green's 1.1 reaction time and never looked back with a 3.937, winning over a 3.981. Cap succumbed to wheel spin, handing the win to Proc. Spencer Hyde given a free ride after Dave Richards was not able to stage, while in the final pairing, J.R. Todd and Matt Hagan had a great side-by-side race, 3.933 to a 3.944, with Hagan taking the win on a whole shot of 0.57 to an 0.86. In the final, Jordan Vandergriff met Daniel Wilkinson. Daniel left first with a 0.59 to Jordan's 0.65. And what a great side-by-side race they put on. A 3.900 in Vandergriff's lane, narrowly beating a 3.95.
In round 1 of Top Fuel, Sean Reid back in the driver's seat, smoked the tyres just past 330 foot, handing the win to Steve Torrance.
Hey, Steve.
There you go.
Billy?
Will Smith failed to front, giving the win to Sean Langdon. Clay Milligan struck the tyres around 100 foot out against Doug Coletta. Josh Hart getting into trouble about 400 feet, letting Jasmine Salinas through to the next round. The race of the round was the first pairing. Tony Schumacher left second, but not by much, an 0.63 to Antron Brown's 0.70. But in a great side-by-side drag race, Antron's 3.739 was enough to hold off Schumacher's 3.746.
There were some big upsets, and Jasmine Salinas was the one making them, taking out Sean Langdon in round 2 with a convincing wire-to-wire win. Salinas left first with a 0.62 to Langdon's 0.83 and never looked back. A 3.775 in Salinas lane to Langdon's 3.776. Langdon's teammate Doug Coletta progressed by way of a final in the 14-car field. Brown taking care of a tyre-smoking Stewart, while wife Leah Pruitt took a whole-shot win over Billy Torrance. In the semi-finals, Jasmine did it again, taking a whole shot over Leah Pruitt, while in the other pairing, Coletta disposed of Brown in a pedal fest. Brown striking the tyres just before 3:30 mark and Coletta before 6:60. Salinas with lane choice in the final.
In the final, Jasmine Salinas left first with a 0.56 to Doug Coletta's 0.72. Salinas held the lead to just before half-track, where Coletta nosed in front and never looked back. A 3.731 to Salinas' 3.815. The cause of Salinas' slowing car, a drop cylinder. But there's still a great drag race and a great story for Jasmine Salinas' limited schedule. This being her 4th NHRA event for the season out of the 11 meetings that have been run.
When she's on track, she is on fire. Like, she does so well.
They have been chipping away.
Yeah.
They only have one full-time person on the crew, which is the crew chief.
Yeah.
Green, I think. Can't remember now. But the rest of the crew are part-timers that fly in.
Right.
And the NHRA rounds that she's doing now are primarily because of the IHRA.
Oh, yeah, of course, because she was doing the Triple Crown, wasn't she?
Yep,
yeah.
correct. And they literally are running it hand to mouth.
Yeah.
She said that she's constantly on the phone. She's doing it as a full-time career. She's constantly on the phone ringing around trying to get enough money to get the truck over, get the airfares, and it's all so they are doing incredibly well.
I just can't believe that no one's jumped on board with funding for her.
I think
there's a bit more to it too, but she's doing great.
Yeah, she is. She's fantastic. Like her and Maddie Gordon
that's where you go.
are just like awesome for the sport. You know what I didn't because I did this a couple of weeks ago. I didn't realise that Lee had beaten Chad Green because I think he's done it again at the Muckleshoot round.
Oh.
So we'll move on to the next one, which is the Muckleshoot Casino Resort NHRA Northwest Nationals, which was held July 24th to 26th at Pacific Raceway in Seattle, Washington State.
Celebrating its 37th year, the NHRA Northern Nationals has always presented tricky conditions. The tree canopy and the track's natural low altitude provide very oxygenated, dense air, great for making horsepower. This year's event's hot conditions left the Nitro crew chiefs with the job of getting all of that power down onto the slick track.
Qualifying wasn't short of excitement, with pro stock part-timer Joey Gross taking a ride through the lights on his roof. Joey's car got loose at around 1,000 foot and made a sharp turn into the wall. On the way there, flipping on its roof at nearly 200 mile an hour. Then hitting the left-hand wall and sliding through the finish line on fire at 168 mile an hour. Luckily, Joey was able to walk away from his horrific wreck.
Yeah, that was a bad fire.
You know, when I was researching this, they kept talking about his disc rotor exploding, and I'd seen all these posts, and it's not what happened.
Yeah.
That happened a few years ago to him.
Oh.
Right.
So they were referencing the wrong.
No, well, AI has taken the two and turned them into one event.
And not recognised the dates.
No, I don't know. It's just had a false memory. Yeah, because I'm reading these posts by these people and they're talking about, and I'm watching the footage.
Because Google gives the little AI summary now as well, which is very confusing when it's wrong.
So I grabbed Justin and I said, watch this run. And he goes, oh, yeah, I can see what's happening. I said, the car's twitched on every gear shift. Now, whether that was the driver, Joey doing it by accident, because he's only a part-time, he doesn't do it as a full-time gig, or whether the track was loose. Like one commentator said, it happened right on 1,000 foot, maybe there's, they're not prepped because of the fuel cars, or maybe there's
Right.
clutch dust or
Yep.
whatever, right? But it just looked like the car got loose and it turned, right? And I'm going, but Reed, what all these people are talking about the disc rotor, you know what I mean? Like, I could see this getting worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will get worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, anyway, moving on.
The J.R. Todd piloted, Coletta owned and DHL sponsored Toyota Supra funny car struggled with clutch controller issues throughout qualifying. The first unit failed, the second unit was found to have a crack in it, and finally the team decided to pull a third unit out of the backup car. Crew Chief Dickie Venables made the right call as the Supra rocketed to the top of the leaderboard with a 3.885 on the third qualifying pass and held onto that spot.
That, he did an interview on, I can't remember if it was Wes Buck or The Insider, and he was saying that, the first one had a problem.
Yeah.
Then they put the spare in,
Yeah.
and then they had a problem. It was leaking. They found a crack, and then they pulled the one out of the.
Who puts the spare back broken?
Yeah.
You'd want to hope it was like
Well,
a
now
faulty
they-
buy,
they're
right? 'Cause
sending 'em
otherwise
all-
Someone's getting sacked.
They're sending him all to Leigh to get repaired. But he said I felt more comfortable when we took the one out of the spare car because we had the settings on that one. And he said you could have 10 of them that are all exactly the same, but they will all work differently.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how nerve-wracking would that be for the crew chief, for Dickie Venables, to go, I hope this is going to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The clutch controller of everything.
All right, where were we? Yep.
Yep, onto you. I
Yep.
was leading you in.
in other funny car qualifying highlights, Daniel Wilkerson took out Austin Prock in the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge. Austin smoking the tyres before 330 feet. In the dragsters, it was Antron Brown who took home the bonus money, taking out crowd favourite Jasmine Salinas, while top qualifying honours went to Aussie Dave Grubnick tuned, Josh Hart driven, Force Family Racing owned Speedmaster Dragster.
Pro stock Greg Stanfield faced off against Erica Enders in the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge. Stanfield's 017 Light, too good for Erica. In a close race, a 6497 to a 6507. But it was 00 Dallas Glenn that topped the ladder with a 6470 to take the top spot in qualifying. By round two, the usual suspects were through. Anderson faced Enders, Erica shaking the tyres and ending her charge. While the other pairing, Greg Stanfield, was just too good for Dallas Glenn, 016 to Glenn's 031 and a 6514 to Stanfield's 644 with a 2.
In the final, Stanfield threw it all away with a negative 008 red light to Anderson's 040 green. Stanfield out of the gas while Anderson laid down a 6508 at 211 for the win. You have to admit the elite team have turned their fortunes around just at the right time of the season too. In funny car, an early exit from Chad Green against Paul Lee. That's what I mean. I didn't remember that it had happened a week before. Chad Green's been unlucky too. I mean, you just don't, with the dominating performance that he's had recently, you just don't expect him to go out early. You know what I mean? He's won 2 races this season. So against Paul Lee, after going up in smoke on the hit, it was an indication of the tricky track conditions. Proc paying back Wilkerson for his Too Fast, Too Tasty win after Daniel went up in smoke.
Another first-round upset was Cruz Pedregon's Snap-On sponsored funny car, taking out the legendary Ron Capps after Capps spun around 300 feet. Round 2 saw one hell of a drag race between Force Family Racing's Jordan Vandergriff and top qualifier J.R. Todd, a 042 to a 054. Jordan's advantage, but a slightly quicker 3939 in Todd's lanes to Vandergriff's 3981, getting it done.
In the semis, Austin Prock took the whole shot win over ex-teammate Jack Beckman, 046 to Beckman's 076. A 3918, not quick enough to stop Prock's 3937, setting up the final between J.R. Todd and Prock. What could have, should have, didn't, with Proc going negative 005 red and handing the win to Coletta team 3955 to Todd's 3941. Todd's 068 light, meaning Proc would have needed a 054 or better light to win.
In Top Fuel eliminations, Maddie Gordon was an unfortunate early departure in a great race against Tony Stewart, which until this race was 3-1 to Stewart. Maddie's slightly slower light and 2 numbers at the finish line sealing her fate. But the first round run everyone was talking about was Will Smith and Leah Pruitt. There has been a device, only known as the device, that was flagged earlier this season by Antron Brown. It has become known as the pedal device.
How cool is it that Maddie Gordon can say she was 3-1 to Tony Stewart?
Yeah.
That's bloody awesome.
Absolutely.
All right. If you recall, Antron Brown called out Tony Stewart in September 25 over an unapproved component. The component has since been approved by the NHRA as a safety device. And for those of you playing at home, I'm doing the air quotes. How the device works is, in the event of the driver having to pedal the car, if the tyres start to spin, the device limits the amount of throttle opening and prevents the engine from blowing up. Well, at least that is the story from Tony Stewart Racing.
The device has caused a lot of controversy among racers. I 100% do not agree with it, states Langdon. I feel it band-aids bad driving. Part of being a professional is being the best in the world at your job. This device is intended to cover for a driver's inability to properly pedal a race car. I think if you drive a race car, you have to have a feel for that car. If you need something electronically to help your inability and you don't try to be better than you, then you should probably find another job.
And that was courtesy of Competition Plus, that quote. In response to the controversy, Tony Stewart Racing responded with, "We've always maintained that our focus is on building a safe, fast program with Dodge. Seeing Lee back in the seat and taking this TSR car to the final round at the Northwest Nationals proves the strength of our engineering within the rules. We're pushing performance boundaries, but safety and doing things right by our partners remain our absolute baseline." So the way this works is there is an air ram. So when you lift off the throttle and you go to jump back on it, it only lets the throttle open a little bit.
Right.
But
it's kind of controlling how much it opens. So when you come off and back on, it's not going straight into a stab again.
correct.
Yeah.
Now, but the thing is, if you do that on its own, the motor will go lean. As you know, your car's got a barrel valve like a fuel car. If the barrel valve's not open,
Yep.
you're not getting the fuel. So obviously there's a secondary component to this that it only lets the throttle open, say 10 mil for argument's sake, but it provides the tune-up, the correct amount of fuel through whatever means to stop the motor from going lean and blowing up.
So they've got another device supporting this device?
I think it's all part of the same
It's
device.
just
So now, look, I've spoken to a bunch of people that understand fuel cars, including Rory.
Yeah.
I went and saw him. We spent a lunch together discussing this. Rory, obviously, he's a purist like myself. He believes if you can't drive it, you shouldn't be in it, right?
Yeah.
So, but he said there is already a device that exists that is on these fuel cars that if the motor blows up and that it works off a crankcase pressure sensor, right? So when it reaches, it's a lay device. The same guy that does all the safety devices and, the timers and so on, Electromotive, I think, Electromotive, whatever the company name is. The way it works is if the crankcase pressure exceeds a certain point, it will push your foot off the throttle.
Yeah.
So it has a pneumatic ram or something that pushes the throttle shut. The reason is because if these things blow up, and it also does this with the automatic shoot deploy.
Yeah.
If they whatever, and you kill the ignition, that doesn't guarantee that the motor's going to stop running.
Yeah.
Because they diesel.
They start dieseling.
Yeah.
Right. So this thing shuts the throttle. So it could be incorporated into that device. I'm not 100% sure exactly how it works. I
don't know if I'm for it or against it. Like,
There-
I get, and I know what Langdon's saying. Like, you should be able to pedal the car. Like, we love seeing the pedal
Yeah,
fest,
yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely,
But
absolutely.
it's really hard to then go against something that's going to prevent the engines from blowing up.
Yeah,
you know?
and TSR did in another interview, which I was trying to find to quote for this script. He said that one weekend they blew up $300,000 worth of superchargers
Yeah.
from pedaling.
Like, and do you know what? Huge money, huge.
Oh.
Right? But for me, like my thoughts, and like I don't know, guys. It's just my way of thinking or my mind of thinking. But like, she's a mum. She's a mum. Dad's racing too. Like you gotta take every safety measure you can to be doing this extremely dangerous high limit sport that's going to ensure that you can come home to your kid at the end of the day. Like it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not definitely not gonna
like
argue with
if
you.
I was if that was if I was Tony Stewart with my millions of dollars, and I would be finding a way to make it for safe returns
Yeah,
for
yep.
his wife and mother of his child. It's just, yeah. I don't know. There's something about like,
At the end of the day, Michelle, it's just like the debate about traction control,
yeah,
right? Traction control is going to save a run,
yeah,
okay? But if the guy in the other lane has got his car set up so that it doesn't spin the tyres,
Yeah.
he's going to beat you.
yeah.
So,
I mean, like Langdon's part of his argument to it, my mind goes straight away, oh, this is the whole like delay box thing, with people being either for or against delay boxes, obviously in bracket racing. And people are for it or against it. They use it which way they will. And sometimes they're like, you know what, if we're going to be up there with them, then we got to be using it. But when it comes across to safety,
funny you should mention the delay box thing, because I was talking to Roger Morehouse today about outlaws and sportsmen.
yeah,
But there is a big dollar race in the US.
the one that's like $1 million.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of those. I don't know if it's $1 million, but it's up there.
Yeah,
And they run no box
Yeah.
and box, and then the final is between no box and box. And you know what? It's
what? Like left lane box, right lane no box, or something like
at
that.
the
and
end,
they
the
go-
final. So they run all the boxes
That's
off
cool.
against each other until there's a winner,
Yeah,
and then they run all the no boxes against each other until there's a winner.
yeah.
And then at the end,
right.
the box versus the no box. And I'll tell you what, it's a toss up.
Yeah,
Because there's some really good bottom bulbers,
Yeah.
like, that have got like a 006 average, and you know what I mean? Like,
I don't like the delay box. My lights, without my delay box, my lights were fire
yeah.
unless they were red. And that was the thing. It was like they were either really great or they were red.
Red.
And just always being the last car to leave.
Yeah, always.
It was just too often I was too anxious to
Yeah.
catch the car almost at the finish line. Sometimes.
All right.
Geez, that makes myself sound good.
This will explain why it was so controversial at this race.
Yes. So the reason that it all came head to head at this event was because in that very round, Will Smith versus Leah Pruitt, there was a pedal fest and Leah's car recovered and went on to win the race. Even though, by Mike Strasberg's own admission, the device has been active for 32 times, that car has smoked the tyres. This is the first time that it has resulted in a race win. There is a great article on Competition Plus which goes through its evolution that started back in 2023.
So, it's 32 times it's stopped the motor from blowing up,
Yeah.
but it's only been this one time that it's...
Which, yeah. How much are you putting the pedal down? How much are you coming off? Is it all
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's
That's
there's
right.
things, there's
That's
a lot
right.
of different factors.
Anyway, back to the race. By the time the finals came around, it was, surprise, surprise, Leah Pruitt, and in the other lane, Doug Coletta. Leah disposing of Josh Hart in a tight race, and Antron going up in smoke against Doug. There was 100th of a second. Coletta's 061 to Pruitt. 100th.
Yep.
Yeah. Coletta's 061 to Pruitt's 071 on the start line. And Doug never looked back with a 3677 to Lee's 3689. A great side-by-side drag race to finish the event and get the double up for Coletta team. Only the second time in history of the Coletta. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh, I wouldn't have thought that.
Well, because they can't win both in top fuel. So
Yeah,
it has to be.
Yeah. The last time being at the Gator Nationals in 2024.
For the Coletta double up. That was the last time.
Oh, the last time. I
Yeah.
was thinking, where are we going with that?
Yeah.
The last time being at the Gator Nationals in 2024. Next race, NHRA Brainerd Nationals, August 19th to the 24th at Brainerd International Raceway, Brainerd, Minneapolis, with
It is in
side
Minneapolis,
news
yeah.
from the zoo.
Yes, the zoo.
Yeah.
So been there.
What was the zoo like?
That was
Amazing.
awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's
It's a great track.
fantastic.
Great part of the world. 1,000 lakes.
I thought we were just talking about the zoo.
Oh, but yeah, the state itself is a beautiful state.
We
The
We used to go to the
party
zoo.
with floats and bands and bars and yeah.
It's like
And
summer
and
nats,
you're
but at the drag
amongst
strip.
Then this was what we were saying before. How when I said you go to these towns that are only,
Yeah.
it seems like the drags is
That's
they're kind of the one thing that's happening for that particular weekend, and you turn around and you're at first surprised to see someone, but then you think, well, where else would they be
yeah,
really?
yeah.
Because they're all there, all the races and teams, competitors and crew, they're all part of the zoo as well. So yeah, it's fantastic.
What do you think about Cruz taking out Caps in the first round?
Oh, that was amazing.
That's crazy. I can't remember the last time Cruz has made a pass first round.
Yeah.
You got to give it to
It's
Snap
been
on.
around a long time, Cruz now.
Yeah, but you got to give him to Snap on for them staying with him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Through all
yeah,
this, you know what I
they've been
mean?
A long time. Yeah. Yeah.
Long time now.
I feel
'Cause
like
it-
was it the beginning of the season though? He kind of did.
No, end of last
Oh,
season.
end of last.
Yeah,
right.
and maybe that's going to happen now.
I just really like his rap. I think they've done very well. The car looks good.
Yeah, yeah.
Car looks very good.
A lot of passion in that team, that family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we have run to time, and so I think we will
Yeah, we'll
round it
wrap this
up.
one up.
We've got some more news to come and some exciting things to come in our next episode.
Motorplex update. You would have all seen the drone footage. No,
Oh.
no. Oh, well, anyway.
I saw the high-speed video of the truck work being done.
Angela's been a naughty boy again.
Oh, no, I mean, are we condoning that, though?
Oh, I don't know, but it looked like it was ready to pull.
Yeah, cool.
That's you know.
No, the
it looked-
Motorplex, they released a high-speed video of the work being done, and it was pretty cool to watch.
Okay.
And I had a bit of a laugh because the guys...
Maybe I was the only one that got the drone footage.
yeah, maybe it was just on selected
It looked
audience.
like dead flat, ready to pour the concrete.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they got to put steel work in there or what happens now.
Oh, well,
But yeah, I mean, it looks like it's on track.
yeah, great. Well, the countdown's on.
It is. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't forget to get your licenses, your medicals,
I know.
your tech inspections, your seat belts. Check your dates.
Yep.
If you need
Helmets.
tyres, ring up.
Are we at a helmet point? Tyres, it's that time of year. It's going to be tricky
To get
To
tyres.
get tyres. They usually have a big shipment coming in
Yeah.
September, and it might be too late for you at that point.
Ring Nicole now.
Yeah.
Get your orders in early.
Yeah.
Speaking of Motorplex, big announcement this week as well, or last week it might have been, 2028 Australian Sprint Car Championship is on at the Perth Motorplex.
Yeah, that's huge.
Cannot wait.
It's really exciting.
That's awesome news.
I think they're saying February.
Yeah, February. It'll be
which-
February 2028. Yeah.
Are they going to be turning the car park into like a camping ground? Because between December, January, February, like it is a busy
Yeah,
season for
it
sprint
will
car
be,
racing,
yeah.
and a lot of interstate and international travellers already coming over for High Limits event. So I think they're just going to be calling WA home for a few months for
Yep.
the sprint car season, and
Looking forward
it'll be
to
great.
that. Yeah.
It'll be fantastic.
Any events?
Targa West is coming up, 17th to the 20th of September. That's coming up. Again, we've got the celebration of motorsport at Langley Park. the Perth City Sprint. We've also got the Malaga stage as well. Classics on Swan. That's all happening. So looking forward to that as well.
The event we were talking about before, was it the Festival of Speed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But why don't they do like what they do? What's the one in England?
Goodwood Festival.
Goodwood, yeah. They do like a timed hill climb there.
Yeah, yep.
You know, I mean, that would make sense for you guys to do that at Wanneroo, yeah?
Yeah, it would.
That's on.
I'll put it forward.
I don't know. What do they do now? They do something like that?
Oh, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, well,
I'd see a bit-
traditionally it has been a timed.
It has, at Wanneroo.
Yeah.
I've never been.
Yeah. That's good event, that one.
Cool. Because they had it at the Motorplex one year, didn't they?
Not the Festival of Speed.
No.
Wasn't that when...
No,
when-
you're thinking because of the first Power Palooza that they did, they had Daniel Ricciardo there with his car.
Yeah.
Festival of Speed had Daniel Ricciardo there with
Oh,
his
was
car.
that
Separate
that-
events.
the Power
That
Palooza?
was the first ever Power Palooza. Yeah. And I like to, I refer to the Power Palooza as our season sampler of what happens at the Motorplex because they do a sample of each.
Well, listen, let me give you the tip. The Tony Roma one's way
I
better
love
than...
a good tasting
The
board.
Tony Roma.
So I just want a little bit of everything and I'm good. Like I'm always going for the tasting boards. 24th of October, it's been announced for Power Palooza at the Motorplex.
Oh, they're gonna do it?
Yep. That's,
And is that invitation only?
that side of it hasn't been announced. Now, drag racing hasn't been invitation only for a few seasons now. So it used to be you had to finish within the top 4 or top 8 to be able to then qualify for it.
Yeah, I think it was
But it's
something
been
like that.
open invitation in recent years.
It used to be free for the top whatever.
Right. I thought the numbers were capped because they had the time cap
Yep.
on how they were running it. For sprint cars, it was also a points round last season, maybe the season before. And so, yeah, yet to see information being released on that, but it's not going to be too far until we start getting more news. So.
Can't wait.
So for now, we'll say goodnight and we will be back with our next episode to bring you more of the latest motorsport news.
No worries.
Thanks very much, boys.
See you later.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Michelle.